Okay, so are you ready to peek behind the curtain of the movie industry?
Behind the curtain.
Yeah, not the red carpets and all the paparazzi, but
Right.
the real nitty-gritty of how a film actually goes from a script on paper
Huh.
to up on the big screen and then
Right.
maybe even turning a profit.
Yeah.
We've got a whole stack of resources here, handbooks, case studies,
Oh,
all sorts of things. Let's just dive right in.
I think it's fascinating how
Okay.
this industry kind of sits right at the crossroads
Yeah.
of creative vision and the business realities of
Yeah.
filmmaking.
So it's not enough to have a great story. You've got to know,
Right.
like you said, who your audience is, the money side,
The money always comes into play.
and make those decisions count.
Every decision counts.
Yeah,
It's
high
important.
stakes game of chess.
It is.
Yeah. And speaking of a winning game, our sources really stress this idea
Yes.
that you need a compelling story,
You need a good story.
even more than having some big name.
More than a star
Star or director.
or director.
Yeah.
The story is king.
Yeah. And the success of District 9 really highlights this.
District 9 is a great example.
Yeah.
It did not have a big star.
Right.
It had a really unique premise, though.
Yeah.
And smart execution.
Right.
That blend of sci-fi with the social commentary,
Mm-hmm.
all delivered in that found footage style.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what made it stand out.
That's what made it stand out. It's a good reminder that a story that can really
Yeah.
pull you in can work wonders, even without a ton of marketing muscle behind it.
Right.
Yeah. Now, another thing that keeps popping up in these sources is this idea
Yes.
that you have to know your audience.
Know your audience.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So you've got to understand who you're making this film for, both here
Right.
and internationally.
Domestically and internationally.
And we see from the data that U.S. films are still a major force globally,
Uh-huh.
but connecting with those diverse audiences is
It's a
becoming
global market.
more and more important.
It is.
It's a global market.
It is.
So those cultural nuances and
It
preferences,
can make or break a film.
yeah, it can make or break a film's reach.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Right.
Now let's talk about the folks steering the ship. The independent producers? Our sources dive into two main types, right? You've got your creative protectionist producers, and then you've got your
What
balanced
is that?
producers. I'm curious from your experience, what makes that balanced approach so effective?
Well, the creative protectionists,
Yeah,
they're so focused on the art
right.
that often the business suffers.
Yeah.
And they end up taking what we call the festival path,
Yeah.
which sounds kind of glamorous, but it's actually really tough.
The sources paint a pretty stark picture that only a tiny fraction of
Yeah.
films submitted to these big festivals like Sundance
Right.
actually even get distribution deals.
Right. And then even then, a financial success is a
Right.
whole other
Whole other hurdle.
hurdle.
Yeah.
A balanced producer, on the other hand,
Finds that sweet spot.
finds that sweet spot.
Yeah.
They're passionate about the art, but they also understand the business side.
They have to.
It's at equilibrium.
It is.
Not being afraid to talk to distributors early.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and make decisions that benefit
Right.
both that creative vision and the film's chances of actually getting out there.
Getting it out there.
Yeah.
They see the big picture. They
Yeah.
realize to get their story told, they need to
Yeah.
make some strategic choices.
Now, our sources also break down how studios
Yeah.
work with these independent producers. It's kind of like different
These are levels of collaboration.
levels of collaboration.
Yeah.
So we've got three main models, right?
Sure.
In-house studio production, in-house pickup,
Pickups.
and distribution agreements.
Distribution agreements.
Each one has its own financial structure
Great.
and impacts how much control the producer has.
Uh-huh.
Let's just break those down a little bit further. Okay.
What exactly is in-house studio production?
So in-house studio production, think of it like working for a big corporation.
Okay.
The studio provides everything you need,
Okay.
but you're essentially an employee.
So less risk, but also less ownership.
Yeah, less
Of
ownership.
the project.
Uh-huh.
What about negative pickups?
Negative pickup. So that's kind of like
Those seem a little more adventurous.
building a custom car.
Okay.
You've designed it, you find the parts,
Yeah.
you do all the work. The studio agrees to buy it upon delivery,
Okay.
but you shoulder the risk
Oh.
if they don't like the final product.
So it's high stakes, high reward.
High stakes.
The producer needs to be confident that they're creating
They
something
better be confident.
that the studio is going to want.
Yeah.
Now, what about distribution agreements?
Distribution agreements are the simplest.
Okay.
You, the producer, you own the whole film.
Okay.
You just hire the studio to get it out to audiences.
Okay. They take a cut.
So it's like hiring a specialized
marketing team.
Marketing.
Yeah.
You bet.
You pay for their expertise and their connections.
You got it.
This whole range of models is fascinating.
It is.
It's like choosing your own adventure.
Choosing your own adventure.
Yeah, based on your risk tolerance.
Exactly.
Exactly. Now, speaking of making things happen,
Yes.
our sources dive into something that can really change the game.
This is a game changer.
For independent producers.
Uh-huh.
Production incentives.
Production incentive.
Ah, yes. These magical programs offered by countries and regions.
Countries and regions.
That can make filming in certain locations a lot more appealing.
A lot more appealing.
And affordable.
Way more affordable.
Yeah.
It could be cash rebates, tax credits, even direct funding.
Wow.
Some countries like Fiji are incredibly generous.
How generous?
Offering up to 35% back in production costs.
Wow. Suddenly shooting on a tropical island seems a lot more doable.
Much more doable.
Yeah, and I can see why this sparks a global competition to attract these film projects.
It does.
For independent productions working with those limited budgets, these incentives can be essential.
Absolutely essential.
Now let's get down to brass tacks.
Okay.
How do these films actually get funded?
How do they get funded?
Our sources highlight the role of banks, but it sounds like securing a loan.
It's a different ballgame.
For a movie, it's a whole different ballgame.
It is.
Yeah.
Banks want to see that they're going to get their money back.
They do.
So they need collateral.
Okay, so what kind of collateral are we talking about here?
It's not your house.
Not like putting up my house.
It's not your house.
Oh, okay.
But it could be things like pre-sale agreements with distributors.
So basically a guarantee that the film will be bought.
Guarantee?
Upon completion?
Upon completion?
Or completion bonds.
Completion bonds.
Which ensure that the film gets finished.
Right.
Even if there are hiccups along the way.
Makes sense.
So it's about proving to the bank that this project has a solid chance of success.
Minimize that risk.
Minimize the risk. Yeah. Now, one of our sources actually provides a production financing worksheet that breaks down
a hypothetical
financing scenario.
Love it.
Yeah. It's incredibly helpful.
Super helpful.
It's like a roadmap for navigating this financial maze of film production. Now, on the other end of the process, things get really interesting with distribution.
Yes.
One of the most exciting trends our sources highlight is this rise of DIY distribution.
DIY distribution.
Yeah.
This is a game changer.
It really is a game changer. With digital platforms and social media now, independent producers can bypass those traditional gatekeepers.
The gatekeepers.
And connect directly with their audience.
Directly.
It's like cutting out the middleman.
Cut out the middleman.
And taking your story straight to the people.
Straight to the people.
Who want to see it.
Who want to see it.
And we've got some fantastic examples of this working beautifully.
We do.
District 9 and Paranormal Activity.
Great example.
Come to mind. So District 9 built up all this hype.
They did.
Through viral marketing.
Dropping mysterious posters and trailers.
Yeah, dropping these mysterious posters and trailers online that got everyone talking.
Got people talking.
And Paranormal Activity used that limited release to create word-of-mouth buzz that led to a much wider theatrical release.
Exactly.
Talk about making the most of a limited budget.
You got it.
Right. It proves that you don't need
the big machine.
That massive studio machine to make a splash.
No.
You just need creativity. An understanding of your audience.
Know your audience.
And a smart strategy. To go a long way.
A long way.
Now, to round out this whole process of getting a film out there, our sources touch on something really crucial.
Okay.
Maximizing
ancillary rights.
So this is where things get really interesting from a business perspective.
It is.
So we're thinking beyond the film itself.
Beyond the film.
Right. Looking at things like merchandising, video games,
novelizations,
basically anything that can extend the reach of that story and generate more revenue. Exactly. And the key here
is to plan for it.
Is to plan for this.
From the beginning.
From the very beginning. One of our sources provides some great examples of how to seamlessly integrate these ancillary rights into the production plan.
From day one.
It's like building a whole universe around the film.
That's right.
And not only does this create a richer experience for the fans, but it also creates those long-term revenue streams. That can fund future projects. Yeah, it's thinking like an entrepreneur. Not just a filmmaker. And with the entertainment landscape evolving so rapidly, that entrepreneurial mindset
it's more important than ever.
Is more important than ever.
Than ever before.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've covered a lot of ground here.
We have.
But we're just getting started. Buckle up, because in our next part, we're going to delve even deeper into the world of movie production.
That's right.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, it really is. It requires understanding those different revenues streams and how to make them work for you.
Yeah.
But it's not just about the money, though, is it?
Right.
Our sources also shed light on this, the crucial role of legal expertise throughout this whole process.
Right. Entertainment lawyers aren't just for the Hollywood heavyweights. They're essential for protecting the rights of everyone involved.
Everyone.
Writers, directors,
investors,
producers, investors.
You got it.
Yeah. It's about making sure everyone is
on the same page.
Legally speaking.
Legally.
Now, one thing that really stood out to me in these materials was this emphasis on the producer's relationship with the talent.
Yes.
It sounds like it takes a special kind of finesse to navigate those waters.
The producers, kind of like the captain of the ship, bringing together and guiding the creative team.
Yeah.
They're the ones that spot the talent.
Right.
They negotiate the deals.
Yeah.
They create the environment.
Make sure everyone can do their best work.
That's
a lot to juggle.
It is.
Especially in an industry known for, shall we say,
big personalities.
Strong personalities.
Strongest personalities.
Balancing that respect for the creative vision.
It's a tightrope walk.
With maintaining control over the project.
You got it.
It's a tightrope walk.
It is. One of our sources even described
I love this.
The process of attaching talent as a courtship. I love that.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
So it's not just about offering a big paycheck.
It's not.
They got to woo the talent.
Woo them.
Show them you're passionate.
Show the passion.
Yeah, create a space where they feel valued and supported.
That's it.
Precisely, talent wants to know that their input matters.
It does.
They've got the freedom to explore their craft.
Absolutely.
And they're working with a team that shares their vision.
Shared vision.
It's about building those genuine relationships.
It is.
Not just transactional agreements.
That's right.
And those relationships can make all the difference, not just for the current project, but for future collaborations as well. Now, speaking of how things work behind the scenes, our sources also delve into the structure of production companies themselves. It's like this whole ecosystem with all these specialized roles. Working together.
Yep.
You've got your development execs.
You got your
producers. You've got your marketing and distribution teams. Everyone plays a specific part. In getting that film.
From script to screen.
Yep. And communication between these departments.
Communication is key. It is.
It's like a well-oiled machine. Maybe a really good band.
Or a band.
Yeah.
I like that.
Everyone's got their instrument. And they got to play in sync. To create something amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. One source even included an organizational chart showing how these different roles connect.
Right.
Yeah, and how the company operates as a whole. It's helpful to see that bigger picture.
It is.
And I imagine that structure can vary.
Well, it does.
Depending on the size and scope.
Of the company.
Some are probably lean and mean. While others are more like a big studio operation.
More complex.
Yeah. So it's about finding that right fit. For each company's unique situation. Now let's talk about how these companies decide which projects to take on. Our sources mention this process called
internal greenlighting.
Internal greenlighting. Which sounds pretty intense.
It is intense.
They analyze the script. They figure out the target audience. Look at those potential revenue streams. And assess the overall feasibility of the project.
So it's not just about falling in love with a script.
No, it's not.
They have to be smart about it.
They got to be smart.
Make sure it aligns with their goal.
Align with their goals.
Yeah, and has a chance of actually making it out there.
Making it out there.
Producers need to be able to assess that commercial viability.
That's not just the artistic merit.
Not just the art.
One of the sources provides the sample script campaign breakdown.
Yes.
It's fascinating to see the kind of criteria
that
they consider. It shows you how much strategic thinking.
So much strategic thinking.
It goes into this.
It does.
And it highlights the importance of not just having a great story, but understanding who you're telling it to.
Who you're telling it to.
How you're going to reach them. Absolutely. Now, speaking of strategic thinking.
Yes.
Our sources really stress the need for meticulous planning. Throughout the entire production process.
The whole process.
From pre-production all the way to post.
All the way.
This isn't a fly-by-night operation. You need those detailed schedules. Realistic budgets, solid production plans. It's about making sure everyone
is literally on the same page. But
you also have to be prepared for the unexpected.
You do.
Filmmaking is rarely predictable.
So
being able to adapt and solve problems on the fly is crucial. It's like that saying, no plan survives first contact with the enemy.
Right.
Except in this case, the enemy is things like
bad weather.
Equipment malfunction.
Last minute script changes.
You
name it.
One of our sources described the producer as a juggler. Constantly managing all these multiple tasks.
Keeping all the balls in the air.
And responsibilities.
Yeah.
Keeping everything moving forward.
Absolutely.
So it sounds like a demanding role.
It is.
Right? Needing that blend of creativity, business savvy, and serious people skills. But I imagine it's also incredibly rewarding.
It is.
Bringing those stories to life and connecting with audiences. You nailed it.
Yeah.
It's a labor of love.
It is fueled by that desire to create something meaningful and entertaining. Speaking of getting those films out there, our sources also provide some great insights into this ever-evolving world of distribution. Things have changed so much with the rise of streaming services and digital platforms. Yeah, it's not just about that big theatrical release anymore. Producers now have more options than ever before. For getting their films in front of audiences. But that also means they need to be even more strategic about choosing the right distribution channels for each project. Some films are perfect for the big screen experience, while others might find their audience through streaming or targeted film festivals. It's about finding the right platform for the story you're telling.
Exactly. Now, one thing that's really exciting is this rise of direct-consumer distribution. So that's where producers can bypass those traditional intermediaries. Yeah, and connect directly with viewers through their own website. Or social media channels. It's like building your own little movie empire.
It is.
Right. And it gives the producers more control over their content. How they make money. Not to mention the ability to build those stronger relationships with their fan base. The success of films like District 9 and Paranormal Activity really highlight the potential of this approach.
Absolutely.
Yeah, they both use social media brilliantly.
They did.
To create that buzz. And build anticipation. Proving that you don't need
the big machine.
That huge studio marketing machine to get noticed.
No.
It's incredibly empowering for these independent filmmakers. And to maximize the impact of all this hard work.
Yes.
Our sources stress the importance
the ancillary rights
of making the most of those ancillary rights. We talked about earlier merchandising, video games, novelizations.
You got it.
Those extra layers that can extend the life and generate additional revenue. It's like creating this whole world. That fans can immerse themselves in. One of our sources even called ancillary rights.
The gift that keeps on giving.
They can continue to generate revenue long after the film has left theaters. And it can open doors for sequels, spin-offs, and other exciting projects.
exciting project.
So it's all about building that lasting legacy.
Lasting legacy.
Not just making a one-off film.
Not a one-off.
And that brings us back
to the producer.
To the importance of the producer's role as a leader.
The producer.
Guiding this entire ship from start to finish.
Start to finish.
Absolutely.
They inspire and motivate their team.
Yeah.
They build a collaborative environment.
Yeah.
They steer the project towards its goal.
Both creatively and financially?
Both.
It takes a special kind of person to pull all that off.
It does.
Vision.
Diplomacy.
Resilience.
Resilience.
It's all part of it.
It's all part of the package.
It's all part of it.
One source described the producer as the glue.
The glue.
That holds the whole project together.
Holds it all together.
Yeah, so much more.
So much
more. Just the money person.
And the money person.
No, the heart and soul.
Heart and soul.
Of the project.
Of the project.
And that brings us to an important point.
Okay.
The financial reality.
Financial reality of the film industry.
Yeah.
This is a business after all.
It is a business.
And our sources dive into the nitty-gritty.
The nitty of making it work.
Of making it work.
You can't escape the numbers.
You can't.
Producers need to understand how to develop those realistic budgets.
Realistic budgets.
Secure finance.
Secure finance, right.
Track those expenses.
And make those tough decisions about where to allocate resources.
Tough decisions.
It's about being fiscally responsible.
Fiscally responsible.
While still fueling that creative fire.
Fueling the creative fire.
One source even provides
I like this.
A sample production financing worksheet.
Yeah.
A great tool for understanding the ins and outs.
Film financing.
Film financing.
Now, before we wrap up, let's shift gears and talk about something crucial.
Okay.
That often gets overlooked.
What's that?
The importance of research.
Research.
In this whole process.
Okay.
Research. I thought that was just for academics and journalists.
No, not at all. Producers need to be detectives, digging deep.
Digging deep.
Into all sorts of topics.
All sorts of topics.
To inform their creative and business decisions.
Right.
It might be market analysis to understand those audience demographics.
Right.
Historical research for period pieces.
Historical.
Or even technical research to ensure accuracy.
To ensure accuracy.
So it's about understanding the landscape.
Understand the landscape.
Knowing the rules of the game before you start playing.
Know the rules.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And one source stressed the value of studying successful films.
Yes.
In the same genre.
Same genre.
As your project.
As your project.
So by analyzing what made those films work.
What made them work?
You can gain valuable insights into what resonates.
What resonates with audiences.
With audiences.
It's like learning from the masters.
Learn from the masters.
Taking those lessons.
Take those lessons.
And applying them to your own work.
To your own work.
And in a constantly evolving industry.
Constantly evolve. Staying curious and informed is key.
Curious and informed.
Absolutely. Producers need to be lifelong learners.
Lifelong learners.
Constantly adapting to new trends and technologies.
New trends and technologies.
But at the end of the day,
it always comes back.
That all comes back
to the core element, the power of storytelling.
The power of storytelling.
We've come full circle.
Yeah.
But how does the producer, who may not be directly involved in the writing or the directing, influence that narrative?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
While they may not be crafting the dialogue or calling the shots on set, producers play a crucial role in shaping the story and ensuring that it connects with audiences.
So they're like the guardians of the story.
Guardians of the story, yeah.
Protecting its integrity.
Protecting the integrity.
And making sure it's told.
Told effectively.
In the most effective way possible.
Yes.
They shepherd that story.
Shepherd the story.
From that initial spark of an idea. That initial spark.
All the way to the final cut.
To the final cut.
But they don't do it alone, do they?
They don't.
Our sources highlight this importance of building a strong team.
Strong team.
Filmmaking is a collaborative art form.
It takes a village.
It takes a village.
It does.
Producers need to surround themselves.
With
talented and dedicated individuals.
Talented and dedicated.
Share their vision.
Share their vision.
And are passionate about the project.
Passionate about the project.
Writers, directors.
Cinematographers.
Actors, cinematographers.
Editors.
All those folks.
So many moving parts.
So many.
All working together.
Working together.
Towards that common goal.
A common goal.
One source even compared it to a symphony.
A symphony.
With each instrument.
Each instrument
playing its part.
Playing its part.
To create something beautiful.
To create something beautiful.
I love that analogy.
Me too.
When you have that strong team in place.
Yes, where everyone feels valued and respected.
Valued and respected.
That whole process becomes so much smoother.
Smoother, yeah.
And more enjoyable.
More enjoyable.
And that positive energy.
Shines through.
Shines through in the final product.
In the final product.
Now, speaking of the final product.
Okay.
Let's talk about getting it out there.
Getting it out there.
Our sources dive into this crucial role of marketing and distribution.
Marketing and distribution.
Which is especially important.
Especially important.
In today's crowded entertainment landscape.
You've
got to stand out.
You got to stand out.
From the crowd.
Producers need a comprehensive marketing strategy.
Comprehensive.
To generate buzz. And attract eyeballs.
Attract those eyeballs.
And that could be traditional advertising.
Traditional.
PR, social media campaigns.
Social media.
Film festival screenings.
Film festivals.
A whole toolkit of options.
The whole toolkit. And it's about choosing the right tools for the job.
Right tool for the job.
Understanding who your audience is.
Know your audience.
And how to reach them. Exactly. And one source stressed this importance of building
a strong brand.
For
the film. So it's not just about the story itself.
No, it's not.
But the image and the message.
Get
you project to the world. Yeah.
It's about giving the film an identity that resonates with that target audience. And hopefully creates a loyal fan base. That will support future projects. It's about building a community. Around the film. And of course, all of this
requires money.
Requires careful budgeting and financial management. It's something our sources dive into as well.
Absolutely.
It all comes back to the numbers.
It does.
Producers need to develop those realistic budgets. Track expenses meticulously. And make smart decisions about where to allocate those precious resources. One source even included a production budget template.
A template
to help break down
those different
categories
of expenses.
Having a solid financial plan in place. From the get-go can save a lot of headaches. Down the line.
But even the best financial plan
won't protect you from everything.
Won't protect you from all the legal hurdles.
All those legal hurdles
that come with filmmaking. Our sources also highlight the importance of being aware of those. You said it. Producers need to be aware of copyright law. Contract law.
Labor law. The whole legal maze. They're responsible for securing the rights. Talk about the story.
The music. Any copyrighted material used in the film. And they need to make sure that all those contracts. With the cast, the crew, and the vendors. Are ironclad. It sounds like having a good entertainment lawyer on your side.
Absolutely.
Is non-negotiable. Navigating that legal side of things
can be tricky.
And having that expert guidance can prevent a lot of potential problems. Now, once principal photography wraps, the film enters a whole new phase. Post-production. Post-production.
This is where the magic happens.
That's where the raw footage transforms into the finished product.
Editing.
Scoring. Sound mixing.
It all comes together.
It all comes together. One of our sources called it the second draft of the film.
A second draft where the creative vision is fully realized. It's such a crucial stage.
It is.
And I imagine it can be just as intense. As the actual filming. Now, once that film is polished and ready to go, the next hurdle is finding the right distribution. Which has become even more complex. With the rise of streaming services and digital platforms. The whole new landscape. Producers need to find distributors.
Who are the right fit. For their film. Whether it's a wide theatrical release. A limited run. Or a streaming deal. And negotiating those distribution agreements.
Can be tricky.
Yes.
One source suggested attending film festivals and markets as a great way to connect with potential distributors.
Potential distributors.
It's just a fantastic opportunity.
Fantastic opportunity.
To get it out there.
In front of industry professionals.
Industry professionals.
And generate buzz.
Generate buzz.
But it all starts with the producer.
The producer.
The driving force behind this entire project.
The driving force.
Our sources really emphasize their multifaceted role.
Multifaceted.
They're the captain of the ship.
Captain of the ship.
Navigating those complex waters of the film industry.
Film industry.
Creative visionaries.
Creative visionaries.
Business strategists.
Business strategists.
And effective leaders all rolled into one.
All rolled into one.
One source described them as wearing many hats.
Many hats.
And that's definitely an understatement.
An understatement.
They're involved in every step of the process.
Every step from that initial spark of an idea.
That initial spark.
To the film's final release.
Final release.
But they don't work in a vacuum.
They don't.
Our sources also highlight the importance of the director's role.
To director.
In shaping the film's creative vision.
The director's vision.
Absolutely. The director is the one who brings that script to life on screen.
Brings it to life.
Working closely with the actors.
Closely with actors.
To develop their performances. Collaborating with the cinematographer.
It's to create that visual style and overseeing the editing process. To make sure that film flows smoothly. One source even called the director.
The author.
The author of the film.
The author.
It's a fitting analogy.
It is.
They have a huge impact on how that story unfolds.
It's huge.
And how those characters are portrayed.
But
before the director even steps onto the set, the writer lays the foundation for the entire film. The foundation.
Our sources highlight their crucial role in crafting the world of the story.
Crafting the world.
Writers are the architect of the narrative.
Creating those characters.
Creating characters, the dialogue, the plot.
Everything that makes up the world.
Everything.
We experience on screen. One source beautifully described the writer as the soul of the film.
The soul.
Yeah. Their vision is the seed. From which the whole project grows. And it's the producer's job to nurture that seed.
Nurture the seed.
And help it blossom into a finished film. And that process requires a symphony of talent. Writers, directors, actors, crew members. All working in harmony. Our sources really stress this importance of collaboration. In filmmaking. It's the key to success.
Each person brings their own unique skill and perspectives to the table. And it's through that collective effort that the magic truly happens. But it's not just about the creative side.
Right.
Our sources also dive into this importance.
The business side.
Of understanding the business side. Of filmmaking. Starting with a deep understanding. Of that target audience. Knowing your audience is crucial. Before you even start writing the script. You need to ask yourself.
Who is this for?
Who is this story for?
Yeah.
What are their demographics, their interests?
Their viewing habits.
Their habits. Yeah, it's about making sure your story resonates for the people you're trying to reach. Exactly.
Right.
And one source suggested... Conducting market research. To gather data. On the target audience.
Their needs and preferences. And this can inform everything from the script to the casting. To the marketing strategy. Yeah. Speaking of the script, our sources also stress the importance of having a clear vision. For the film before you even start shooting.
Before you shoot.
Right. It's about asking those big picture questions. What story do I want to tell?
Right.
What message do I want to convey? What tone and style do I want to create? Having that clear vision from the start.
Keeps everybody on track.
Helps keep everyone on track.
On the same page.
And working towards that common goal. One source even suggested creating.
Oh, I love this.
Like a vision board.
A vision board or a mood reel.
To capture the essence of the film. And share it with the cast and crew. Share it with everybody.
It's a great way to ensure everyone is on the same page.
Creatively
speaking.
Yeah.
And once you have that vision in place,
okay,
you need to assemble a team
Assemble a team.
Of talented individuals who can bring it to life.
Who can bring it to life.
Our sources emphasize the importance
finding the right people.
Of finding people who are not only skilled, but also passionate about the project.
Passionate.
Yeah, that passion is contagious.
It is.
It elevates the whole production.
The whole production.
It makes the experience
more rewarding.
More rewarding for everyone.
More rewarding for everyone.
Absolutely. But passion alone won't pay the bills.
No, it won't.
Our sources also dive into the nitty-gritty.
Nitty-gritty.
Of securing financing for a film.
Securing financing.
Which can be a challenging, but essential step.
Essential.
It's all about the money, honey.
It's all about the money.
Producers need to develop a realistic budget.
Realistic?
And find investors.
Find investors.
Who believe in the project.
Believe in the project.
And are willing to put their money.
Put their money where their mouth is.
Where their mouth is.
That's right.
One source even recommended creating a detailed business plan.
A business plan.
To present to those potential investors.
Potential investors.
It's about demonstrating that you have a solid understanding
of the market.
The market.
The target audience.
The audience.
And the financial viability of the project.
The viability.
It's about proving you're not just a dreamer.
Not a dreamer.
But you're a savvy entrepreneur.
Savvy entrepreneur.
Who knows how to turn a creative vision. Into a successful business venture.
Successful business venture.
Speaking of bringing that vision to life.
Yes.
Our sources also talk about the importance
locations
of finding the right locations for filming.
Finding the right locations.
Locations can make or break a film. Make or break a film.
They set the scene.
They do?
They create the atmosphere.
The atmosphere.
And they can have a huge impact.
Huge impact.
On the visual storytelling.
On the storytelling.
Producers need to consider so many factors.
So many.
Visual appeal.
Visual appeal.
Practicality for filming.
Practicality.
Lighting, accessibility.
Accessibility.
It's a lot to juggle.
A lot to juggle.
One source even recommended scouting locations in person.
Scouting in person.
To get a real feel for the space.
For a real feel.
And see how it aligns. With that creative vision for the film.
With the vision.
And once you have that perfect backdrop.
Okay.
You need to find the perfect actors.
Find the right actors.
To inhabit that world.
To inhabit the world.
Our sources emphasize this importance of casting the right people.
Casting is crucial.
For the roles.
It is.
Casting is crucial. Right. Actors bring the characters to life.
They bring them to life.
And they need to be able to embody those roles convincingly.
Convincingly.
And engage the audience.
Engage the audience.
One source recommended holding auditions.
Auditions.
To see how different actors interpret the material.
Interpret the material.
And interact with each other.
Interact.
Yeah, it's like finding the missing pieces of the puzzle.
The missing pieces.
And once you have your cast in place,
okay,
you need
a good cinematographer.
A skilled cinematographer.
A skilled cinematographer.
To capture their performances.
Capture those performances.
And translate the director's vision onto film.
Onto film.
The cinematographer is like the painter.
The painter of the film. Right. They use light and shadow.
Light and shadow.
Composition and camera movement.
Camera movement.
To create that visual language.
Visual language.
Of the story.
Of the story.
One source called them the eye of the film.
The eye.
Which is a perfect description.
It is.
Yeah, they work closely with the director.
Closely.
To establish that visual style.
As a style.
And ensure that every shot.
Yeah.
Every shot.
Contributes to the overall narrative.
Overall narrative.
And speaking of crafting that narrative.
Yeah.
The editor plays a critical role.
Critical role.
In shaping the film's structure.
Structure.
And pacing.
And pacing.
It's amazing to think that the editor takes all that raw footage
and
molds it into a coherent story. One source even called the editor
the
architect of the film.
The architect
responsible for piecing it together those best takes.
The best takes.
Arranging the scenes. In the most effective order. And adding those transitions to create a seamless flow. And let's not forget about sound design. Which can be just as important as the visual. In creating that truly immersive experience. Sound can be incredibly powerful. It can enhance the emotional impact of a scene. Create atmosphere. And even guide the audience's attention.
Guide their attention.
One source recommended hiring a dedicated sound designer.
A dedicated sound designer.
To oversee all aspects of the film's sound.
Dialogue.
Music.
Music.
Sound effects.
To ensure that every element contributes to the overall impact. And speaking of music. A well-crafted score.
A good score.
Can truly elevate a film.
Elevate the film.
Adding another layer of emotion and depth. To that storytelling.
To the storytelling.
One source even suggested hiring a composer.
To
create an original score. That perfectly complements the film's tone and theme. It's about creating that symphony of sound and visuals that work together harmoniously. And of course, we can't forget about the magic of visual effects. Which can transport us to other worlds.
And bring these fantastical creatures to life. Visual effects can be amazing tools for storytelling. But they need to be used judiciously. Always in service of the story. And not just as these flashy distractions. One source recommended hiring a visual effects supervisor. To oversee all aspects. Of the visual effects process. From pre-visualization to final compositing. It's a specialized field.
It is.
And having an expert on board can ensure that those visual effects enhance the storytelling. Rather than overwhelm it.
Not overwhelm.
Now, once the film is complete, it's time to share it with the world. Our sources highlighted the importance of film festivals. As a launch pad for getting a film noticed. Film festivals are a great way to showcase your work. To a wider audience. Generate buzz. And attract the attention of distributors. One source recommended submitting a film to multiple festivals. To increase its chances of being selected. It's also important to choose festivals that are a good fit for the film's genre and target audience. And having that solid marketing plan. In place to promote the film at the festival. Can make a big difference.
It can.
But getting your film seen is just one piece of the puzzle. Our sources also talked about this importance of networking in the film industry. Which can be just as crucial as having a great film.
It can be.
It's all about building those relationships. With other filmmakers. Industry professionals. And potential investors. One source recommended attending
industry events
and conferences. As a way to meet new people. And expand your network. It's about being genuine and authentic. When networking. Building those real connections. And following up with people. After meeting them. But it's not just about who you know. It's also about what you know. Our sources emphasize this importance.
Stay up to date.
On industry trends. It's a constantly evolving landscape.
It is.
With new technologies, new storytelling techniques. And new audience preferences. Emerging all the time. One source recommended reading industry publications, attending workshops and seminars, and just staying curious. It's about the ever-changing world of filmmaking. It's about being a lifelong learner. Constantly seeking out new knowledge. And perspectives. But beyond all those technical skills and industry knowledge, our sources stress something even more fundamental. The importance of perseverance. Making it in the film industry
takes grit.
It
does.
You're going to face rejection, setbacks,
and challenges
that will test your limits. One source even suggested creating a rejection file. To keep track of all the no's you receive along the way. It's a reminder that rejection is part of the journey. And it's important to keep pushing forward. It's about having that unwavering belief. In yourself and your vision. Even when things get tough.
And
And it's about fueling that belief with passion.
Passion.
That burning desire to tell stories.
Tell stories.
And share them with the world.
And share them with the world.
One source called passion.
The heart and soul.
The heart and soul of filmmaking.
Of filmmaking.
It's what makes all the hard work.
All the hard work.
And sacrifices worthwhile.
Worthwhile.
And that
needs to be backed up.
Needs to be backed up.
By a strong work ethic.
By a strong work ethic.
Strong work ethic.
Filmmaking is a demanding profession.
Demanding.
Long hours.
Long hours.
Tight deadlines.
Tight deadline.
And a lot of pressure.
A lot of pressure.
One source stressed this importance
of being
organized, efficient, making the most of every minute.
Every minute.
And prioritizing tasks effectively.
Effectively.
It's about being a master of time management.
Master of time management.
And just as important as efficiency
is
maintaining that positive attitude.
Positive attitude.
Even when things get stressful.
Even when it's stressful.
Filmmaking can be a roller coaster ride.
It can be.
And it's important to celebrate those small victories.
Small victories.
Yeah, and focus on those positive aspects.
Positive aspects.
Of the experience.
Of the experience. One source suggested surrounding yourself with
positive people.
Supportive people.
Supportive people.
People who lift you up and inspire you to keep going.
Lift you up.
And don't forget the importance of a sense of humor.
A sense of humor.
A sense of humor is essential.
Essential.
It can diffuse that tension.
Diffuse the tension.
Keep things in perspective.
Perspective.
And make the whole experience more enjoyable.
More enjoyable.
For everyone involved.
For everybody.
One source simply said,
yeah,
find a way to laugh every day.
I love that.
And I think that's great advice.
Great advice.
For anyone working in this industry. It's about not taking yourself too seriously. Not too seriously.
And remembering that filmmaking is supposed to be fun.
It's supposed to be fun.
Even amidst the chaos.
Amidst the chaos.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of movie production. What stands out to you? As the most surprising insight? What's the one nugget of knowledge?
Oh, that's a tough one.
That really shifted your perspective?
I think what's most remarkable to me is how this industry is constantly evolving.
Yeah.
The rise of digital platforms, new financing models, has democratized filmmaking in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
You know, it's opened up all these possibilities for independent producers.
Yeah.
But it's also a reminder that the fundamentals haven't changed.
Right.
A compelling story that truly resonates with audiences.
Yeah.
I mean, that's still the heart of it all.
It's like that saying, the more things change, the more they stay the same.
They do.
Right. Yeah. And as we, we're going to embark on our own cinematic journeys now.
That's right.
Armed with all these insights. What's the one piece of advice? You would give to those aspiring filmmakers out there?
I would say don't be afraid to take risks.
Yeah.
Break the mold.
Yeah.
Tell the stories that are burning inside you. And never lose sight of that passion, that love for the art of filmmaking.
Yeah.
It's what will sustain you through the challenges and propel you towards success.
Beautifully said. It's a reminder that filmmaking is more than just a business. It's a calling. It's a creative pursuit that can touch lives. And leave a lasting impact on the world. So go out there, tell your stories, and keep the magic of cinema alive.